Hey, Jimbo, you ready for this deal?
Light the fuse, Cody.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, friends and neighbors. Time once again for the Cowboys of the Osage podcast with your host, Jimbo Snively and Cody Garnett. Now let's sing a little bit about it. Cowboys of the Osage, riding once again. Always got some time for a friend. And here they are, the Cowboys of the Osage.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum, the Buck and Flamingo Turquoise Shop, both located in historic downtown Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Hey, it's old Cody over here. Oh, I forgot one. Shorty's Cowboy Hattery, Oklahoma City Stockyards. The best custom hat going down the road right now. If you need a new hat, call old Shorty. She'll fix you up.
Edith Cattleman's and
Edith Cattleman's. Get your head measured, then you'll be getting a new hat in the mail pretty soon.
Right.
Can't think of a better way to spend the day over there.
Right.
Yeah, just tell old Shorty, Cody, and Jimbo sent you. She'll probably give you a good deal. Or if you tell them I sent you, she might charge you a little more. Tell them Jimbo sent you. She'll probably give you a good deal on a hat. As always, I have my main man with me, Jimbo Snively, Mr. Rodeo Historian himself. Morning, Jimbo. What do we got going on today?
Hey, Cody, boy, it's another great day in Osage, man. And Cody, we've got Maryanne Miller with us today. She's a two-time WPRA World Champion header. And for those that don't know, she's Johnnie Joe Miller's daughter. He's a two-time World Champion team roper, which makes her the great-granddaughter of old man Ben Johnson and the great-niece of Ben Johnson Jr. So that's four generations of world champions. Can you imagine?
We were sitting around talking just a minute ago. We could not think of another family that were true four-time generational. We had the Wright brothers, but they're all the same generation, except for their dad and a few others. But we couldn't think of four true generational world champions.
Are there any? Do you know of?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. Well, we're going to claim
it's a very small list if there is.
I think we're the only one. We're the only family.
Yeah.
I mean, the 20s, the 70s, when was yours? The 90s, and then 53.
Hers was in 2000.
2000?
You're making her older than
2006.
she is.
Oh, come on. I'm already old.
Yeah. Well, you already know how to hurt
the
her.
90s were my era. Hell.
Yeah, no, we're the only one.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I happen to be, a female, so that's even cooler.
Right.
It's the right time for that.
Yeah. And she works for Tito's Vodka now, and they do a lot of sponsorship for the Western way of life, big supporters. But she's also started her own foundation called the Miller Johnson Foundation. And this is what they're striving for. Their mission is to support and promote the financial health of Western heritage families. How about that?
Pro football players, baseball players, basketball players, a lot of those guys got a good retirement and they got help and some insurance and stuff. But a lot of these old rodeo hands, especially, Western heritage families, well, they didn't waste their money on anything like that. They
Right. They were just trying to get down the road.
They had entry fees. They got a lot of stuff. So we need to take care of our true blue legends and families. And maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about your foundation just to get us started.
Yeah, of course. So the objective is to be there when they need us. I know what it's like to need help and not have it. And in this day and age, with all of the resources available, it's absolutely outrageous to me that, when a family that, let's say they get injured, the dad gets injured and can't earn an income, and $5,000 will save their lives. Well, that's lunch money to some people. Why would you not spend that money to help keep a family afloat? So that's kind of the objective is, was there a death in the family? Is there a medical emergency? Was there a natural disaster like a tornado or a fire? And I've seen a lot of families that are completely devastated by something like that when all they need is a little bit of help. And so that's what I'm hoping we can do for them. A little bit of help in their time of need, and the insurance companies just don't go fast enough. We can step up and write a check. And someone like Tito's Handmade Vodka is very philanthropic. He's a very giving person, and they give a lot of money to natural disasters, things like that. But they sometimes can't act fast enough, whereas we can come along and do it that fast.
Back in the 70s, Jimbo, my dad, he was riding saddle broncs at Cheyenne back before he, and he said he broke his leg there, and we almost starved to death, he said, until he got his leg fixed, and that's when he quit riding saddle broncs and focused solely on steer roping right after that. But, I know our family knows how that is too. I mean, there wasn't any other income besides, him rodeoing, period, at the time, so.
You were telling me you've already helped some families, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. And the really awesome thing is we helped a gentleman, the first gentleman we helped. I don't want to say his name just in case. He was injured, and he was injured in the middle of nowhere on a ranch in Montana. They were shooting a commercial and got his chaps hung on the saddle horn. And they didn't think he was alive when they airlifted him out. And I got to meet him last summer. He was walking and talking, and he's doing great. And that just made me feel so good that we could actually help his family. We've done a lot of stuff for children's, like schools and things. We can help them go to clinics, put on events. And that's the part I like, is that a lot of times we help people also that don't even know we're helping. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool.
That's the best way to do it sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the best feeling out of it.
Yeah.
You're not doing it for...
Not doing it for PR.
Yeah,
we will at some point need that PR to keep having donations coming in, but I don't want to be asking in the family's name. I'll ask in my name, but I dang sure do not mind donating in their name. My dad, my Uncle Ben, because they were so giving.
Right. So how does people go about donating to the cause? Because we got a lot of people listening, and they got a soft heart for cowboys for sure.
Oh, isn't that good?
Yeah.
Hopefully they do. I have a website, Miller Johnson Foundation. You can go on there and you can do it with a credit card. You can do Venmo. You can do Zelle. But everything's on the website. We're on Facebook.
Well, from Ben Johnson days a few weeks ago, we were able to scrounge up $1,000. We're going to give you today from Ben Johnson days, and we're proud to do it. Yes, ma'am.
That is amazing. I appreciate it. And it was not expected. So.
Well, I was going to Venmo it to you or something like that, but I don't have any of those types of payment systems.
We can do it the old-fashioned way, too. And I wanted to tell you, thank you for saying that you're proud to do it. I talked to my dad this morning, and he told me to be sure to tell you guys he's proud of what you're doing. The family's proud of what you're doing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that, especially coming from a legend like your dad. Holy moly, he means a lot to a lot of people around here. So
yeah, and we got to keep talking about these guys too.
That's all me and Jimbo do. We're blue in the face.
I know.
These old rodeo guys, that's for some reason it's turned into our passion, but we both come from a long line of old rodeo guys, so we got a real soft spot in our heart for them, and this is where we came from.
Yes.
So we're just trying to give back to the history of rodeo, too.
Well, that's awesome. And if I can help in any way, I'm happy to.
Well, you just being here today is helping us out, for sure.
Yeah.
We're just super happy to have you again.
I want to know about these Hawaiian shirts. That's what I want to know about.
Well,
I think Cody started it first wearing them, and then my wife now, when she buys me a shirt, it's always a...
yeah, it's just a fashion thing for me and Jimbo now. We're trendsetters
Yeah.
around here. We both wear our Hawaiian shirts just about every day. So I used to wear a long sleeve shirt every day until we got the Hawaiian shirts going.
Yeah.
Have you tried these new poncho shirts? Those things are
They're light.
awesome.
No, I want to try some though.
Yeah, you ought to get the ponchos. This isn't one of them, but they're not a sponsor or nothing. But I highly, highly recommend.
But you just plugged them anyway.
that
right?
poncho brand. Well, it's the best shirt I've ever wore. I've never. It sounds crazy for me to even talk about shirts because I never cared about any kind of shirts I've wore. But those poncho shirts, man,
Especially where you live.
they are comfortable and they shed the heat too somehow.
That's good.
they're really nice to
I
wear.
think they should be a sponsor now after that. All that.
They ought to be. Send me some shirts.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what was it like growing up, daughter of Johnnie Joe Miller?
You know, people talk, it's funny. I had the best childhood.
Sure.
My mother and my dad are both saints.
Your mother was a barrel racer.
Yeah, she went to the NFR on the barrels,
Yeah.
and then she had kids, and that was the end of that. So she got to raise another world champion and support her husband as well. You know, people work their whole lives to leave something for their children, and my parents have worked their whole lives to give us the best life we could, not in things, but in experiences. And I grew up around rodeo legends and movie stars. You know, my dad and my Uncle Ben would do these pro celebrities to raise money for charity and help in any way they could. And so those are the people I was around. And so there's a saying, and I don't know exactly, I'm going to mess it up, but I've had my inheritance my whole life, because I was their daughter. And I'm so proud to have lived that my whole life, is just being in their presence and being, you know, in the family that I was raised in. I mean, a lot of the Cowboys, not blood related, are family.
Sure.
You know, and when they started doing the rope-ins and the pro celebrities, he was Uncle Ben to my dad. And Brother Ben. So they called him that to separate the different, you know, to make it distinct. So everyone else calls him Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And so that's
how that got started.
That's pretty awesome.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wondered about
So
that.
yeah, it was, you know, everywhere we go, I used to joke in college, I could never step out of line, never get in trouble, never do anything wrong, because it didn't matter if I was in some podunk town in Iowa, my dad would know somebody there.
Right,
And he
sure.
would hear about it.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where we go. We can go to the airport and he knows somebody there.
Right.
So it's pretty exciting. And man, I'm still hearing stories that I've never heard before. So I try to get out my phone and record them now. But
What did your dad ever say about growing up in Pawhuska?
a lot I can't repeat.
Yeah. He had a lot of friends.
You know, he did have a lot of friends. He still has a lot of friends.
Yeah, I know it, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
some that he went to school with, some of them are gone, unfortunately, but a lot of them are still
Yep.
around. You know.
Yeah, old George Carter was
Yeah,
a good
George
friend
Carter.
of his.
Oh, yeah.
The
We
day
love
before George died, actually, the night that George died, he stopped by and saw me at one of the stores, and we had a good, 2-hour conversation, and he was stopping and seeing me about every day, and then he just passed away in his sleep that night.
Oh.
You know, he
What
just
a way
The
to go.
best
though.
way.
he's going to be missed. He was a true character and a pretty good guy too.
Aw, and I don't think I ever got to meet him.
You
I
never
wish-
got to
I
meet
wish
George? I think him and your dad went to school together.
Yeah.
And, he
Yeah.
went out there with him when he first went out there, I think.
Wow,
And
I didn't know that.
stayed out there some, didn't
Yeah,
Jimbo?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's what I always heard.
The cool thing is like we came, I don't know, what, 3 years ago? We came 2 years ago for the steer open.
Still, bro.
And I don't think I've never came here with my dad before during that. And, you know, being in that environment or seeing those people, it triggers memories. And so he was sitting here talking about getting on racehorses out there at the track. Or exercising racehorses out, and I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
He talked fondly about swimming in the creek and going to the Indian day school when he was little, and all his friends,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah, I think it's still called Indian Camp over here.
yeah, Indian camp day school. or however he says it. But I think that's where him and George went to school together.
Probably, because George
Yeah.
lived right out there in Indian Camp.
And so those are nice stories to hear. And it just was a different time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just a different time. And luckily, my Uncle Ben had already gone to California by then. So he got to leave and go see another part of the country, different culture, different way of life.
Did your dad ever think about getting into acting? He had the looks for it.
No.
He
He was a good-looking guy. I mean,
no, I think
still is. I mean, his smile, man. I mean, you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you see that guy smiling like that.
his personality.
He's got a good smile right there, you know.
Thank you. The temperament, his temperament wasn't fit for, and the patience and the bullshit.
Yeah.
He didn't have that to fit into that crowd. And I didn't either. I was literally on set behind cameras, director telling me to do something, and I kind of stood up for myself and lost my shit. And I felt good about it. Everyone told me, congratulations, good job.
Yeah.
And then they didn't invite me
Yeah, but
back
it didn't
later.
get you anywhere, did it?
No, it didn't get me anywhere.
What were
But-
some of the movie sets that you got to hang out at?
Oh
growing up?
gosh, most of the stuff they did together. My dad answering your question about being in the business. He
Okay,
was
I'm
a
sorry.
wrangler and he had teams and stuff. Him and brother Ben, my uncle Benny Bob.
Benny Bone, yeah.
And I don't know much about that because they did it much when I was much younger and before I was born. But that's what they mostly did on the movie sets is have the teams of horses, have the mules, drive the wagons, things like that, be the wranglers. But he couldn't handle the Hollywood type, you know.
We did a
And-
podcast with him
yeah.
a couple years ago, or a few years ago, and he didn't seem to care about the Hollywood too much.
Nope.
No, he just didn't. He didn't have a whole lot to say about it, and said, you know, they're just a different kind of people
They are.
that he likes to spend his time around. So
Exactly. And I think when my Uncle Ben got introduced as a young man, it was a little different. It's kind of in their golden age. And so there was some people with some character and integrity, and, you know, they could stand up and say, we're doing it this way.
well, it was a new thing, the movie business. You know, just new
Talkies.
people, just regular people. You know, were getting into it. You know, and
Exactly.
because they didn't have probably a bunch of actors, they were just on the hunt for them all the time.
Yep.
At the time, I would think. Heck, I don't know.
I think they were doing a lot of Westerns, so they had to use regular
Yeah.
people.
And you know what's crazy? I don't even know if you know this. That John Ford was here in Osage County in the 1920s filming silent movies.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and one of the guys that was one of his main stars, Frank Heskett, ended up meeting an Osage woman right up here at Washington Park and marrying her and become the chief of police here for like 40 years or some crazy thing. And he ended up staying. We have some of his stuff in the back, but you know, none of the movies are even left because they didn't store them
wow.
correctly, or
Because they were on film.
they were on film. And I read a story about them and in a book that was talking about it, and they didn't store anything correctly because they didn't think anybody would ever want to watch these movies again after they made their run around the country. You know, they
that
thought,
was
well,
it.
that was
Yeah.
it. They just threw a bunch of them away, you know, and
Oh, wow.
and didn't store them correctly. And then, of course, I think they were highly flammable, and
Oh, no.
a lot of them burn up through the years. But
Oh, no.
yeah, just none of those movies are left. The titles are left, you know, but that's it.
John Ford. Wow.
Yeah, he was right here in Osage County. He filmed one movie called The Reign of Terror that Frank Heskett was in right back there. I suppose it was about the Osage Reign of Terror. So
That's the sheriff or the chief of police?
he ended up being the chief of police here. Yeah, we have a picture of him riding a white Indian motorcycle leading Eleanor Roosevelt
Yeah.
Oh, my.
through town.
I
great.
think I told you after he retired, he lived out here west of town or south of town, and they had the county jail. A bunch of inmates broke out, and they went up. They just naturally followed this creek, and it went right by his house, and they had a shootout, and one of them got shot, and he might have even got shot. But he was tougher than a boot. He was an old man then, and he had a shootout with those criminals back in the day. I remember it. I was just a little kid.
Didn't he have a shootout at a mound just south of town? Something mound? Back when he was a lawman?
I don't know. This
Maybe.
was after his law
Gotcha.
days, I think, when I remember.
You know, if these guys would have told their stories or wrote it down, or I mean, you know how many stories come out of right here?
Right.
It's crazy.
For sure.
I keep trying to tell my dad to record it, write it down, write a book.
Right. Be good.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even have to write it down. He could talk into a recorder.
Yeah.
Have someone else do the writing. Or heck, AI could probably just plug it right into AI and they'd write it up off the recording now.
Yeah, he'll start a story every so often. He'll go, you know that. Can I tell a story?
Please.
Absolutely.
The other day he was talking about being out there, you know, as a little kid riding horses, and you know, he was out there. He's gonna get mad at me for saying this. He was out there, he's a teenager, maybe young teenager, and they were playing rolling dice or something, and these guys rolled up in this fancy caddy. They, you know, kind of like rounders.
Yeah.
This was 60, 70 years ago. And they said, you know, what are you guys doing? You know, well, we're rolling some dice. Well, can we get in on that? You know, they're thinking, yeah, look who these yahoos are. You know, we're gonna random guys stop by here. We're gonna get their money, and they clean their clocks. These random people that pulled up in the Cadillac just cleaned their clocks and left town with all their money. And you know, these boys just got a whooping. It was Doyle Brunson.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
The famous poker player and gambler.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
But he has stories like that all the time, and I'm like, man, we need to record this. He tells it way better than I do.
Well, there used to be roving gamblers. Real ones, they go around from town to town and gamble, and they wear out their welcome and go to another town until they wore out their welcome there, and then they'd go to another town until they wore their welcome out there. You know?
A lot of cowboys played dice back, like you were talking about, at the rodeos, you know, instead of like now they might play pitch.
Well, they play with their phones now.
Yeah, they're on their phone
They play
now,
dice and
but
cards, you know.
Back in the day, they used to play a lot of craps, and a lot of the dice were crooked, too.
Yeah, well,
They'd
there
play
wasn't
it on
nothing
a
else to do.
blanket.
That's what they did for
Yeah,
fun.
what else are they gonna do?
Well, imagine they drank a little beer,
And a little whiskey.
threw a little dice.
Yeah.
Tell stories, reread stories.
Because they didn't have a phone to go through or anything. They weren't going to sit around and read a book. There wasn't no action in that. So
Right.
They had to find some action during the day.
Right. What do you remember about your Uncle Ben, the actor?
The energy in the room changed
Really?
when he walked in.
Just had a presence to him.
Yeah. Very, what I remember, he's very stoic, I guess. And, yeah, that's it. The presence in the room was very, very much the patriarch of our family. My grandma Ollie, my great-grandma, his mother, was still alive, obviously. Sure. But every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, we were at Uncle Ben and Auntie Carol's house for for dinner.
Sure.
And in his later years, he lived in the same retirement community that his mom did. So, you know, we got to see him all the time, which is great. And I can still hear my Auntie Carol laughing. She was a kick. But that's what I remember about him is and the stories. And the stories. And he was from an older generation, so it was just different. And I'm sorry that the young people today don't have that connection to much older generations. You know, my great grandma she was 101
Yeah.
when she passed, and that was 20 years ago. So that's what I remember about him most is just, you know, he was just old enough that he got that. I mean, 1914, I think he was born.
Probably something like that.
And I can't even imagine what they saw in their life.
Oh, yeah.
They would scare them today.
Could you imagine growing up over there on the Chapman Barnard Ranch and then hopping a train and going to Hollywood? That had to be a culture shock
I'd love
for
it.
him.
I'd
right?
love it. Yeah. Yeah, that going from this area to California, even in the old days, I guess. I don't want to be cliche, but I'm thankful he went as a cowboy.
And he stayed a cowboy.
Yeah. He stayed a cowboy. And he was able to. He didn't have to change anything to fit in. And that's the best thing.
Yeah, we have so many video clips of him back there that plays on a loop, and there is a reoccurring theme. They said he said all he could do was just play Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Yeah. And they wanted him just like that, which is perfect. The timing was good. I'm so thankful he did it. I think it gave a lot of other young people the inspiration. Hey, you can go out and do things. You know, you don't have to stay in your be a small town, be who you are, but go out and be that, chase your dreams, go out and be something that you want to be.
When he came back to Pawhuska, he was just Son Johnson, to everybody. That's what he went. That's what everybody knew him as, was Son Johnson.
Yeah, because his dad was so well known.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did he ever tell you about the time he rode in that? No.
No.
It's just that one of he just decided. They told him, "Well, we need you guys to roam and ride and have a race out there." So he just learned to do it real quick.
He just did it.
I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't even imagine trying it, unless I was a little kid just jacking around.
I could barely ride one horse, much
I
less
know,
two.
right? I have trouble riding one horse too. My dad talks about him all the time. Like, man, what an athlete he was. He was just a natural athlete.
Did you ever get to see him rope much? I guess.
Yeah,
What do you remember about his roping?
old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, old school. It's gonna scare a lot of people that hear this, but when I was maybe 14, 15, he'd come to rope and he'd tie on head.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's what he did when he won the world.
Yeah, but that's scary to us. And it was one of those old poly, it got his loop down here and it's got his steer tripping loop, and it's old poly and or poly blend, whatever they used. And that's what I remember the most is all of us sitting back there just making sure everybody's safe, because he's tied on. But I'm thankful for everything that he did. I'm thankful for everything my great grandfather did in the rope and pin in the rodeo arena, and my dad, because being a fourth generation, it's not mine, it's theirs.
Yeah.
So everything he did roping, everything my dad, my Uncle Ben, and my great grandpa did, is this fourth generation world championship is theirs, and so I'm thankful for that. But as far as him roping, that's what I remember, is him throwing that loop and going left, tied on.
Your dad, he won the world tied on too, didn't he? Jimbo, give him a little bit of history on team roping real quick, on how it evolved through the years, and especially on Maryanne's dad, a little bit on how the team roping was ran at the national finals back then.
Well, when it first started, the first one, they roped with the steer ropers and the barrel racers out of Clayton, New Mexico. And you had your top 15, and then they invited somebody to rope with them.
There was only one champion team roper at the time.
one champion. And that's just the way they didn't have a world champion header and a world champion heeler.
They didn't dally either, did they?
Well, they started out, they'd rope 6. Now, out at Clayton, they just did 3 tied on and 3 dally.
Okay.
But then it evolved into, was it 5 dally and 5 at Oklahoma City?
Half and half.
Half and half, And then I forget what year when they stopped the tie down altogether.
Explain that, how being tied on is different from nowadays, because it's totally different. I mean, the header actually gets off his horse.
Yeah, he has to get off his horse and run down there and put the square knot on him,
On the back 2 feet.
Yeah, and it was a pretty wild event, really.
The team time. My dad loved that event.
Yeah, I bet.
So team tying, the header and the heeler are both tied on solid with a horn knot. And the header ropes him, goes left, the heeler comes in and heels him, and they keep stretching him. The header gets off his horse as they're stretching the steer, and tries not to get hit with him, because it gets pretty wild as everything gets tight.
They used to talk about a V,
Yeah,
you didn't want to get in a V.
Well, they'd be coming they'd be like this, and as they were coming tight, it would all come back this way because they were tied on tight, and that you didn't want to get stuck in that V, or that steer would take you out. And the healer would come in and heal him, and they'd stretch him out. Header would get off and tie a square knot around their back 2 legs. The only thing I don't know, did they get a penalty for a 1-leg catch when they're team tying, or
That's
was
a good
it?
question.
I don't know.
I'm going to ask that, actually. You know, they're starting to bring that back a little bit.
I've been seeing they've been having them out at Prescott and a few places, West Texas and New Mexico here and there. And yeah, I've been seeing some team tying. I was seeing a lot of 3-man team tying.
Oh, I haven't
where
seen
there's
that.
2 guys on horses and 1 guy tying the square knot. But
Well, that's cheating. Come on.
no, that's a 3-man team.
I don't think they got a penalty for just 1 leg, but I could be wrong.
Makes me wonder. They could probably even have a front leg in the horn loop, just like the steer ropers back then.
Yeah, probably.
Because steer roping at one time,
Yeah, front leg was the best catch you get.
front leg in it or just slick horns.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 legal catches.
Hell, and around the neck and the jackpots was legal
Really?
back in the day. Yeah. Schultz roped a lot of steers in those jackpots when he was winning around the neck.
No kidding.
Sure did.
Well, they were roping some pretty big steers at that time, too. Big horns, too.
Yeah.
I love that you're a statistician.
Well, I'm really not. Cody's made me out to be something, but
He's,
Or
I'm kind
historian.
of faking my way through it.
yeah, he's a rodeo historian for sure.
right.
He knows a lot.
I had what's funny after he started calling me that. I have real historians call me asking me stuff. You know?
No.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jimbo even had to write a forward in a book here a while back.
Right. I did. I
Nice.
Crig's book. I wrote the forward on it.
Nice. Did you guys always know each other?
No, we didn't. We didn't. Actually, I was getting this museum going, and I was had an auction company. Listen to this. And Jimbo and his wife called me to come pick up a bunch of junk they didn't want anymore to sell at the auction.
My wife cleaned out the attic.
Nice.
And me and Jimbo got to talking. I suppose he took one look at me and was like, I don't know about this deal, because I looked a little bit like I do now. And anyway, we just end up sharing the same passion for steer roping history and old rodeo history. And through the years, we became great friends, and he's helped out so much with the museum. And, you know, we've honored his grandfather greatly here and his uncle.
Isn't that nice?
We just became great friends, and I realized that he is a true blue rodeo historian. And I called him up one day and said, Jimbo, I'm thinking about doing this podcast deal, and I know you're probably not real interested in it, but anyway, it's became a huge part of our lives. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
and yeah, we just became friends because we're just very passionate about mutual interests. So that's
Good.
that's the main reason we became such good
And
friends.
it all started just a pile of junk in our attic.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
He ended up showing me his
I got
scrapbooks and stuff he had
scrapbook,
that day, and then we were off to the races after that.
There you go.
Never looked back, did we?
Nope, never looked back.
There you go.
And we'd do little short videos here in the museum with him, and I'd call him a rodeo historian, and all of a sudden, I'll be dang,
Your phone
you are a
search.
rodeo historian, Jimbo.
Yeah, I know. I guess that's all it takes. Somebody call you one.
Well, you are one.
Yeah. Well, did your dad want you to be a roper, or your mom wanted you to be a barrel racer? How'd that work out?
You know, they really didn't.
Just whatever you wanted to
Yeah,
do.
whatever we wanted, both of us, my brother and I, whatever we wanted to do, they were very supportive of. I ran barrels first.
Okay.
Trey roped. Trey roped when he was a little bitty kid, and my dad used to. So my dad was there to help Ed Gaylord start the Lazy E.
Yep.
And so my brother from, oh my gosh, I have pictures of it was in May, 85, we roped for the first time in the Lazy E arena. There was still plastic on the seats. But I have pictures of my dad and my little brother, tiny little brother on his pony, roping in the Lazy E before, like, the first steer ever turned in there. And so he always roped from when the time he was a little kid. I ran barrels. And it wasn't until I was probably 15 I roped my first steer in the practice arena out behind the mare barn at the Lazy E.
Yep.
And they supported whatever we wanted to do. I was in dance and gymnastics. It didn't, you know.
You were living in Cave Creek. Well, you were here in Guthrie then, I guess.
We were. We started school in Arizona, and we moved. I was probably 10 when he started at Lazy E, but we went to school in Edmond.
Okay.
So, gymnastics, dance, the whole thing, and then I got to rope from the dummy, and about 15 years old, I was like, this roping thing's kind of fun. Now they start at 5 roping the dummy, having jackpots, dummy roping jackpots, which is kind of fun. But they didn't really they wanted us to do what we wanted to do, what we were passionate about. So whether it was softball or football, or it didn't make make a difference. But yeah, I started barrel racing. Should I say that out loud?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's fine. Shoot, that barrel racing's a major sport. And actually, I've rode a couple barrel horses, trying to run barrels on them, like in way back in junior rodeos or whatever, trying to go for the all-around. That's serious business riding a serious barrel horse. I tell you that right now. That is serious business riding a serious barrel horse.
It is. Yeah, if you're used to riding in a rope saddle, it's a little different.
And I tell you what, if you do hit one of those barrels just right, it's bad news, buddy. It is bad news. But I just got my daughter started roping this last year or so. And, we started roping the dang calf dummy and breakaway and I've been kicking myself in the rear now for about a year for not starting on team roping first, because I felt like, holy moly, they would get their horsemanship so much better and their rope handling so much better. And then if they wanted to break away after that, I just feel like they would have been roping so much better, instead of this breakaway loop right off the bat. And that's a major regret I have, actually, is not teaching my daughters to actually team rope first. Because I think it would have made so much better of a hand out of them. It may not be too late now, but
it's not too late. How old are they?
They're just 13 and 15.
Oh, my goodness.
But
of course, it's not too late.
All the foundation I laid on them from the start, I'm going to have to change up now that we may start team roping. But I think it'll make so much better of a hand out of them.
For sure.
What's your thoughts on that, Maryanne?
I think 90% of the really top breakaway ropers are team ropers.
Yeah, there's that one girl from out in your country.
Danny. Oh, Danny's a team roper.
Yeah.
Danny Lohman and I used to rope at the Indian rodeos because I got my Indian card.
Yeah.
So we used to rope at the Indian rodeos together. And she'll tell you right off the bat that she's a team roper, first and foremost.
Yeah.
But, I go to a lot of these all-girls now. So I used to go to all the all-girl rodeos, and they don't even have them anymore. Now they just have all-girl jackpots. But all these...
There's some good ones, though, I think.
There's some good ones, but it's funny because nobody ever sees those. All they show is the rodeos on the Cowboy Channel. And they're starting to do some premier events like $1 Million Breakaway and whatnot. But as far as people seeing that, you don't see those girls team roping. And if you were to come and see like Martha or Jackie or, Shelby team rope, shit, they've been doing it a while.
Well, yeah, they can really rope.
They can rope.
I've seen them rope.
Yeah, they can really rope, and that's the cool part is that I think most of them started out team roping, and in high school, and they're still young enough to where they went from high school to college, and there was no gap between them competing college rodeo to professional rodeo because they're young, and so the professional side of it just kind of started being in the forefront 5-6 years ago. But you don't know that they team rope because that's all you've seen.
Yeah,
they're tough.
Well,
Most of them are tough.
I truly believe that if anyone's listening out there and you got your girls fixing to start roping, you should probably start them team roping off for this breakaway because it's going to pay huge dividends in the long run, and the way they handle the rope and the way they ride their horse and everything, because there's a lot more to it than just trying to take 2 swings and pop it off your saddle horn. So I'd highly suggest to do that. It'll make your daughter's rope way better in the long run.
And the team aspect of it too is good. And don't get me wrong, the breakaway ropers work together as it is. They have to. But I think in the long run, horsemanship, but I think there's also going to be more opportunity in the team roping.
Oh, yeah.
Just like there is in the breakaway. Because everybody likes women's sports,
For sure. This breakaway is the fastest growing Western sport there is, I think, you know.
Yeah, it is.
It's totally changed the horse market. It's changed the rope market. It's changed everything that has to do with roping in the roping market.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that, and I'm not being negative, it's just factual. The good old boys, I don't think they ever thought about us like, you know, putting us in the forefront because, to be honest, I don't think they could figure out how to make money off of it. It's
an exciting event.
Yeah, but now, you know, there's several people with money that just said, you know what, it needs to happen. If it needs to happen for these women, we're gonna do it. Just like Women's Rodeo World Championship, it's just for the women. They give $800,000 last May for the women. That was the prize money, and then the $1 million breakaway.
That's right.
Yeah, they're doing it because they can and because it needs to happen. Why not?
Get it in the NFR. Get it in the purse. Take it out of the slack, you know. Don't treat the breakaway ropers like you've treated the steer ropers, PRC. Come on. Put them in the show.
Right. I would second that. I don't know. That South Point deal is pretty cool, but yeah, being in the show would be
I'd much rather
ultimate.
I imagine they'd much rather the electricity and the 18,000 people right in there than the 800 people that shows up to the breakaway. And
I think you're right, and I guarantee you not one of those people would complain about taking the concert out.
Take the concert out.
Putting the breakaway in.
Those concerts kind of land flat anyway for some reason. I don't know what the deal is with them.
Right?
If it ain't George Strait,
But they just something about the atmosphere just doesn't ever hit
It's
right.
not the right audience for
Well, I guess that's it.
some
maybe.
of those people. Yeah. I'd agree.
Yeah, some of the guys they bring in there, you know, I just got to scratch my head.
Right.
But it's their deal. Whatever.
It's their deal. You know.
They can run it however
We're
they
not
want.
in charge. We're not in charge.
When you
right?
start putting on the NFR, you can get whoever you want.
You can bet that the breakaway roper is going to be right
Are
there
we
with
couch?
us.
Are we couch cowboys like the
Yeah.
Couch coaches.
That's right.
couch coaches? Yeah.
You know, back in my day,
Yeah.
they didn't have them concerts.
Yeah, we got a lot of that in us.
No, I'd just much rather see the breakaway than the concert.
Me too.
Honestly, they deserve it, and it's such a good sport now. I mean, gosh, dang, how competitive
I
is
think
that?
that
women's
NFR crowd would really get into it,
They
too.
would. They would.
Well, they'd have some fast times,
Yeah,
and
right.
it'd just be so good.
Because they're all
No doubt
about speed. They love those when they tie those calves in 7,
Yeah.
or 6.
Or break an arena record in the
Yeah.
barrel
Like-
racing. I mean,
Right.
One will break a record, and then another one will come right after and break a record. And it's if you haven't been to the NFR breakaway at the South Point, you have got to go watch because it's so fast and it's so exciting because they'll get to have slinging contests. Somebody will jump out there and be 2 flat, and then somebody will jump out there and be 1-9, and then somebody else will tie them. It's exciting. It's very exciting.
I remember when this breakaway busted through the top. This old Madison Uthier at the American. At the American, she won all that money, and
As a youngster, she was
As a
17.
youngster, yep.
Yeah.
heck of a roper. I used to stay down there. Do you know Mike?
No,
her dad?
no,
Her
no.
dad, Mike, he's a wild man, and between rodeos, we'd go stay down there
Oh,
with him for a
gosh.
week. And I remember she's just a little old girl, and Mike could have her out there every single morning practicing breakaway because he wouldn't let us do anything until Madison got done practicing breakaway.
There
and
you go.
And then
That was first.
then it was wild the rest of the day. But while Madison practiced breakaway, it was serious business around there.
Right. I
Yep.
know. You're supposed to have fun, but it is serious business.
Yeah, we never had fun in the practice pen growing up.
You didn't?
No, it wasn't fun. It was serious stuff, it seemed like.
It's fun when you rope good.
Well, it was fun with a rope.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
fun
fun
with
just to
rope
rope, you know. But
Yeah. Or when you do something like fall off or something like that, I can still hear my dad laughing when I fell off, because he thinks that's funny.
there's nothing funnier for a cowboy than to watch something happen to another cowboy, you know.
Watching
And,
someone try to save their
a lot
life.
of times people wait to laugh until they see if they get up or not.
If they're
Sometimes they just
survive.
can't help their laughter if they're laying out there hurt, you know. That's some
Right.
Yeah.
cowboys love a good wreck, no doubt about it.
No, but as soon as they got the breakaway in the American, it was off to the races. So
Yeah,
pretty.
I remember it like as yesterday. Horses started bringing $50,000 just overnight. Breakaway horses. They couldn't find enough of them. You see breakaway rope companies pop up, all kinds of practice dummies for them. I mean, it's just great. It's
You've
just
got
great
some
for a
kind of
win.
practice dummy, don't you?
We got every kind of little gimmick and gizmo for breakaway at the house you've ever heard of, Jimbo.
That's awesome.
And they're actually great training tools
They
like
are
these
very-
sleds.
Yep.
We only roped live animals growing up, and we
Sure.
thought, oh, we ain't gonna rope those sleds and nah. Well, they're a great training tool. The steer sled, the calf sled, any of that stuff.
Especially with cattle prices like they are.
Yep.
Yeah. What's great
They don't
about
cost much more than the roping steer now.
Jeez. What's great about those dummies is there are kids out there that can't go practice.
Yeah.
They don't have the ability to get on a horse and go run live cattle. And that rope and the dummy, my dad, in his schools, that is literally the first thing they do is rope the dummy. He gets out there today at 82 and ropes a dummy every day.
Yep.
And that's the best thing you can do. Like for your girls, start roping the head and dummy or the heel and dummy. It's the best thing you can do. And it's nice that that's the best thing you can do for those kids that don't have any other opportunity. You know.
Well, like my girls, I just bought 2 old broke ranch horses. We had that sled, and they train their own roping horses. Just ride on that sled. You know, it would have took 1,000 calves at home running through the chute, but you know, with this in a couple weeks,
Yep.
we were running live cattle. You
Yep.
know,
You can
And-
control it. You can control
Yeah.
the speed.
There's a lot of things that I didn't realize that's so good about all those roping training tools. You
Yeah.
know, we just didn't.
Who would've
We just didn't
thought?
do it.
I think my dad has one that's like 50 years old that they welded pipe together. That you just dally on another horse and drag around the arena.
Yeah.
They didn't have 4-wheelers then.
Well, he's seen every kind of roping tool made
Yeah.
that there is. You know, your dad.
Yep.
I imagine he tested most of them for a lot of people
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, he did. I wish I wish he was sitting right here so he could tell us. But
God, I wish he was too. That would be so fun.
we'll have to come back, both of us together.
Dang right. Dang
Yeah.
right.
What did your dad help you the most with? You think your horsemanship or your riding, your roping, or how do you think?
In the arena,
The biggest advantage you had by having a dad like yours, what was the biggest advantage?
Imagine she had some good horses growing up.
I did. I had the best. Actually, had the best horses. He was the best head horse trainer there was around. In 1 year, he had 11 horses qualified for the Lazy E for the World Show. In 1 year, and I don't know what all the other years were, but I mean, it's hard to nail it down to horsemanship or roping because the best thing he gave me, and my mom too, was the mental game. Learn your mental game, because he would always say, he might get mad at me, he would always say, I couldn't always out rope him, but I could outthink him. And that's true. Sometimes that's all it is. You literally see it today, like when you're watching these girls rope. Some of those girls will just win first everywhere, and a whole crop will win second, and then they'll switch. Then they'll win first, and then they'll switch places because they're so competitive. And I think the ones that have the strong mental game are the ones that end up winning everything. So I would say that's first, and then the horsemanship is second, and then the roping is third. The fundamentals of roping is people make it harder than it is. Just the fundamentals of roping people, and they always have gimmicks. Put the square. I don't know. They do some square thing around the head, and I'm like, what? Rope the horns.
Well, that's the way I just grew up roping the horns. And aim right to the center of them horns. And I roped a dummy a million times. And now you watch the video, you got to have your tip here, and you got to do, and it just.
I saw a guy with like
They're trying to
a
reinvent the
target
wheel.
hanging from the middle of his hat. And then I took the girls to practice the other night in Winona, and there was a kid with some sort of glasses, and I think it had some sort of target inside of them. They were these AI glasses.
Oh, man.
Because they were all swapping the glasses back and forth.
Oh, they have
seeing
a
if it-
video. They have a video camera in it,
Oh, okay.
and it uploads,
Okay.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, the target on the what the heck?
You know something I
People
bet
make
that
it too hard.
Yeah.
helped her out more than anything growing up, rather than just laying down the fundamentals or riding the good horses or the mental game, is just being out there watching all these other guys rope, and it's just a monkey see, monkey do. I mean, you learn a lot just from being around it and watching it with your own eyes and seeing it. You're like, oh, that's what he was talking about. When you see your dad do it actually on a horse, it puts two and two together for you a lot, I would think.
You are correct. You're absolutely correct. And I always ask why, which you're not supposed to do. You know, you want to know why so you can remember next time. How do I solve this? How do I make it different? But the best thing is failure is the best teacher. So when you see these guys that are, you know, your heroes and they make mistakes, then you realize that you don't need to be that hard on yourself to, you know, like I've seen Trevor Brazil wave it off. You know, I've seen my dad wave it off. I've seen Clay O'Brien, you know, have perfect layup and just miss. And so, yeah, it's being around those guys, just being in the arena, and you don't get upset about it. You adjust, you tweak, and you go back in there and, you know, do it again.
You know, I was rodeoing Jimbo, and I saw Trevor, and I was like, what'd you get done yesterday, Trevor? He said, I went in it when I left. And his team partner behind me, after Trevor walked off, said, we got a no time yesterday. I don't even know what he's talking about.
I love it. That kid cracks me up.
Boy, howdy, he was a different cat even when we were kids. You know, his dad, my dad, they were both rodeoing at the exact same time. And all us kids would be out there roping the dummy and matching and playing pig or whatever on the dummy. And Trevor took it way more serious than the rest of all of us. And he'd be over there by himself roping the dummy. He didn't want to be over there just jacking around with us. You could just tell how serious he was, even as a little kid, you know?
Yeah. He had a mission.
He was on a mission when he was a kid.
He
really was.
Yep.
You could tell it.
We went to college together at WT. Shada was my roommate.
Wow.
So basically, Shada and Trevor were my roommates. And he was very dedicated. And he was a success already from, you know, junior high school, and college.
Oh, yeah.
Up to college. And it was evident by his dedication every day.
We won the timed event when he was in college. I mean.
But, you know, he practiced more than anybody.
Yeah.
So.
I'd hear stories that he'd have a bad day or something, and he'd get home at midnight, and they'd get to practicing sometimes, you know? I've heard all kind of stories like that growing up.
There, you know, they always say you sit with champions, the conversation is different, and that's true. It's true.
I believe it.
A different breed.
Go back to the Lazy E real quick. Did your dad help design that whole roping facility?
Yes. So I can remember, and again, I wish he was here to talk about it because I was so young, but I can remember. So when I got there, it was Ed Gaylord, AG, and another gentleman by the name of Richard, and then they had Dana was their secretary, and they had set up this office. They had Ed had a 4-stall barn on this property,
okay,
and he'd set up an office in one of these stalls and put an AC unit, and that's where the secretary was. But they were just building the mare barn. They were just building the arena. There was, and I don't know when he started versus when we ended up moving there as a family. But I remember being in that arena before there was a roof on it.
Wow. And
then playing in there in the summertime, and no one was there, you know, and we'd play hide and seek in the alleyway underneath.
Yeah, I always thought it was cool,
it was dark,
the steer return
yeah,
alley.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was like a little tunnel under or something we went into
there is
one
a tunnel
time.
under, yeah. But I can remember swimming in the lake there, and Ed lived in the 2-bedroom house right there on the lake. There was 2 houses, and we were swimming, running in and out of his house. You know, he's like a 30-year-old bachelor, right? And we're these kids running in and out of his house, and they're sitting in the living room working on the logo, drawing the logo for Lazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Ed Gaylord used to trip steers, didn't he, Jimbo?
Yeah.
He used to come up to the club ropings.
Yeah, he was a member of a club. A.G. Myers and Johnny Morris. Did you ever know Johnny Morris? He He was always with Ed.
I don't think
They always said he was his
so.
bodyguard. I really don't know, but he always traveled with him.
I'm sure I met him, but
And him and AG, and they were all three in the club, and roped. And Ed was a real nice guy.
I hope they're
know.
well. I haven't seen him for years.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I haven't seen him
We need to
since
have
the
a
last time
reunion.
he was at the Lazy Arena. He came out and
Yeah, he let
presented
us,
the average saddle to someone.
We need to have a reunion.
he let us have our club roping finals down there several years. You know, this is maybe 84, 85 when it started, and I know we didn't bring in enough, didn't pay him enough to even pay for the electric, you know, but he did it for us, you know, and it was just awesome just to get the rope in there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool in there.
Oh man.
I walked in there. I hadn't been in there in 15 years, and I walked in there. I was like, "Well, shit! It smells the same." We used to play in there when they were. I remember the first event they ever had, and I'm not going to go into detail, but it wasn't. You know, it was a success. So I'll just say that. But you know, my brother and I used to run around and play while I shouldn't say this. When my folks were in the cantina.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I
was
feel like
safe.
I
It was
almost
totally
grew up
safe.
there too, you know. Heck, my folks, after the steer roping each night at the finals or whatever, they'd all go
be
to the
upstairs,
cantina
yeah.
and be me and Dee Kyler and Melanie Kyler sitting up there in them red chairs by the cantina just...
Yep. Entertaining yourself.
Yeah, and we'd go in all the stairwells and play and down the rope and shoot. We just raised hell around there
Oh
as
yeah,
kids.
you could run and
honestly.
play. And we probably met.
We probably did. And then a few years later, they wasn't real strict on who went up to that cantina. It didn't seem like I was 17, 18 years old.
you
I was
were
going
not?
up there partaking in the cantina with them at one point in life. So
Oh, how fun!
it was. I got a lot of great memories from that Lazy Arena.
Oh, it was a cool place. I remember the first time I went down there, first year, and it might have been, I can't remember if it was 84 or 85, but that other arena down there that was covered.
The mayor burn.
Yeah, yeah, and that was nicer than any
That's
arena I'd
nicer
ever been
than
in. You know, we went down there and was
Yeah.
looking at it. You know, it's just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, every morning they'd have my dad and whoever was working for me. I had Justin Johnson working for him for a long time.
That's a roping dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to see him at horse shows growing up and big team ropings.
See,
and his,
we have met before.
Yep,
I know we have.
his brother's world champion, Jet Johnson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to. They'd saddle 10 head in the morning and just rope till they were done. Every day. Gosh dang.
I'd say that Justin Johnson's one of the best ropers to not ever really go professionally. I mean, he went.
Maybe he was smarter.
Well,
I
he
don't know.
seemed like he might have stuck to the horse shows and some big jackpots and stuff, but I don't really remember seeing him burn up the road, you know, like his brother did and a lot of the other
No,
guys.
I don't think he did.
But he always struck me as one heck of a roper every time I watched him.
I remember him fondly. Him and his wife.
You know, your dad, he was in here and told us one time, he's a rhythm roper, not a power roper. He said there's power ropers and there's rhythm ropers, and he's a rhythm roper.
Let your rope do the work.
That's what he told us.
Did he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Good. Then
So what would you
It's
call a
stuck.
power roper, those guys that come out and throw quite a ways and
I
got a
don't.
lot of power behind it and they're ducking at the same time and your dad would run up there and just take a good shot? Or
Well, he could, you know, and I think some of the difference back in my dad's day is they had cattle. And you might have to take a hold of one,
yeah.
you know, and now it's a little bit different. You know, if you look at pictures of some of the steers that they roped back then, some of them are almost as big as your horse,
Yeah, they were.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know where it was. I saw a smaller horse, you know, take a jerk, and I thought, man. So now I don't think that if they roped that kind of cattle, I think now they would still have to almost run up in the middle of them.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any
They wouldn't have any horse
of
left.
what they're doing
nowadays.
nowadays.
They couldn't just go left and
That second
horse
jerk
take
would
that
get 'em
jerk
awfully bad.
sideways. Yeah, but I think they start so much younger now
Yeah.
in the dummy roping, and then they start so much younger being competitive.
Well, they take them out
rather
of
than
school
just-
and they just start
Yeah.
hitting the road with a lot of these kids, you know?
Yeah,
And
which I mean, if that's all that you want for your kid in life, great.
there's a kid out in
Homeschooling.
your country that's done that, and he's a man amongst boys today.
Yes.
Is Catch Kelton is his name.
Yep.
And,
And I grew up with his dad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
his uncle.
Chance tied his very first tripping steer down at our house.
Yeah.
Back when he was going to enter the timed event, we
You-
mounted him on a
Yeah.
horse, and then he loved tripping so much he took it pretty
He's
serious
like, I want
after
to do
that.
this.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And I think that's great. But
Yep.
if you want them to be able to do anything else, you know, give them a little bit of hit it in the middle somewhere. You know, is it all rodeo or is it all school? Hit it in the middle somewhere.
You do see a lot of kids burn out now
Mm-hmm.
that rope really good, and then they just don't do anything
By
with
the
it
time they
once
get
they
to
get
college,
older.
it's like, yeah, I'm tired.
You do see that a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
On some good hands. Some kids that can really rope.
So the power thing, I don't know. I just, I never roped that way and maybe it's because I'm a female. But, yeah, I think my dad's way of doing it is probably easier, smarter.
Your dad was a real smooth roper, and in the steer roping, you know, a lot of team ropers, the rope steers now, they still get over a little to the left on that left hip. Your dad got behind the steers, was real smooth.
But he was still left.
Well, but he was roped like a steer roper. You just to watch him, you wouldn't have said, "Well, that's a team roper trying to rope steers." He looked like a steer roper when he roped. You know.
Yeah.
The way
We
I
asked him what he
remember.
preferred the most last time he was here.
Yeah.
Probably steer rope.
He said steer roping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, well, I had all my world championships in T-roping, but I do prefer the steer roping.
What
which
did he?
surprised me.
What did he think when you won the world championship?
He thought that was pretty good. He thought that was pretty amazing.
Was he there?
He was there.
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. The first time he wasn't there. And it was just, it almost was even difficult to get to the location that we had the WPRA finals. Storming, snowing, the whole thing. And so when I won the world the first time, you know, by the time we get done, it's like 1 a.m. And I'm calling them, telling them they're so proud and they're so thankful. And, you know, I hung up and, you know, then it hits me. What do I do now? Shit, I got to do this again. So then I did it again the next year. And that's when he was able to come, which is really cool. He was able to be there. My Uncle Ben, Benny Bob, my dad's brother, was able to be there. And it was a really cool experience because it was very cozy, I guess is the only word. It was small. We didn't have Cowboy Channel. They made it a big deal for us because, shit, these are world championships. And now it's more public, you know, like Facebook and TV and whatnot. But I think when it really hit him was he was inducted in the Cowboy Hall of Fame a few years later. So I got 4 generations of champions. 3 of them are in the Cowboy Hall of Fame. 2 of them are in their Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. And one of them's an Academy Award winner, which is whatever that's worth. That and a couple bucks will buy you a Coke. But it's just kind of cool, you know. And he got up there on stage and was talking, and, you know, he said, you know, I thought it was really cool that, I mean, this is his moment. This is his moment, the culmination of so many things he'd done in his life. And he said, you know, I thought it was really awesome that I was a 3rd generation world champion in my family until my daughter won a world championship. And now we have 4 generations. And I think it, you know, we cracked up a little bit. I think it hit him, you know, later rather than right then, because honestly, they didn't make a big deal about it. Nobody made a big deal about the women. And we're the oldest, as far as the WPRA goes, we're the oldest organized women's sporting association in the country. You know, it should be a big deal. But I think that he was extremely, extremely proud, you know.
I'm sure.
Disbelieving, maybe.
Yeah.
Disbelieving.
When you're backing up in the box in a short round, what do you think about being a
Nothing.
world champion? Nothing?
Nothing.
You don't change your game plan? Nothing. Nothing's different.
Nope. I think I have an idea of what I need to do, And so you kind of have that in the back of your head. But after that, it's just, people call it muscle memory. I kind of think of it as instinct. You train enough and you rope enough, practice steers, that, you rope the steer where he lets you, or you rope the calf where he lets you. And I think in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I got to get a time, or I got to do this. And then as soon as you leave the box, everything goes out the window. At least for me, anyway. Everything just goes out the window, and I just do what I do. The only time I've been able to break that down and, kind of stick with the game plan is I drew the first time I won the world, I drew a steer that I knew stopped. I knew he was going to stop, and I took 2 swings and roped him, and I'm going to the horn, and he's behind me. And so I knew I didn't even have time to pull my slack. I knew I better just dally that sucker. And that's the only time I really knew, because I knew that, because that's what was at stake. And now it's, now it's a different story. I've won what I wanted to win, and whatever I do now is just icing on the cake. So when I back in the box, there's no pressure. There's no pressure. I don't get nervous or scared. I think it's more anticipation, because you really want to win.
Yeah.
Winners want to win. But that's it. I don't think about it. I think about it I think about it until I nod my head.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's straight from a world champion, everybody.
Sorry, that's a long explanation.
Did when your Uncle Ben, took off a year to win to try to win the world team roping, did you hear any stories about that?
No, just the one he told everybody that he got home and he had a mad wife and he was broke, and a wore out car.
Spent all his money in a mad wife. He had to go back to the pitcher business.
I had to go back to the pitcher business. But, I'm glad he did what he did, because no one else has done that. Right. And that's the cool thing, to be able to do something that nobody else has done.
And probably never will.
Probably never will. Nope. The whole rodeo has changed. I shouldn't say fundamentals, the values and the elements that it was built on, it'll always be the same. But the business model of Hollywood is completely different now.
Well, it's a serious business now, almost, where I don't feel like it's a serious business now, between the cost of your horse and the cost of your rig and going up and down the road and needing to win some money to get to the NFR so you can maybe have a decent year. It has turned into a serious business, and a lot of these guys seem like they're taking it pretty darn serious, because growing up, I didn't see cowboys getting out of their rigs and jogging in the mornings anywhere, but now if I go to rodeo, you'll see a bunch of guys out taking their health serious and doing things a little more right the night before and things like that. I feel like a lot of the fundamentals have changed, because it has turned into such a serious business, and there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. And I think in 2 parts, the reason for that is, A, they want to be able to do it longer.
Yeah, seems like their careers are a little longer.
Yeah, now. And it's more competitive. So they better have the edge on that 20-year-old that's coming up, because there's always somebody faster and better than you.
Well, there's a bunch of them coming up right now, and we're just starting to see all these kids that homeschooled their whole life and has really made a mark on amateur rodeo and youth rodeos and jackpots and stuff. We're really starting to see that come into play now with with the Kelton boy and Riley O'Rourke in the steer roping, and we're seeing several calf ropers I've never even heard of before, and they're the most wicked thing you've ever seen in your life.
They're wicked, yeah. They're just, it's raw talent. They don't care. They're gonna go for first.
Yep.
They're not gonna safety up. And I think that's one of the cool things about going from somebody like my Uncle Ben. I had a mad wife and I was broke, and and it's funny, but it's true.
Well, yeah, I know many men just like him.
Yeah, and now they're smarter. Some of them, I shouldn't say they, some of them they're treating it a serious business. Like, I'm going to take these winnings and buy a piece of property. I'm going to, invest it in another horse. Or
Well, you used to
whatever
be
they
able to do that in the early days. Like Reba's dad put a ranch together from roping, and there was a bunch of old ropers back in the early days, and then all of a sudden, I felt like there was a long stretch where there wasn't people that you weren't able to do that with your money that you were winning. So
There wasn't enough to win. Maybe, I don't know.
yeah. Well, back in the early days, some of them steer open fees in the 40s would be over $1,000.
What?
So
In today's money, that's a lot.
that's like at least $10,000 or more.
Wow.
Yeah, probably 20.
I couldn't take the pressure. I couldn't take it.
And we have one poster in the back that it's $1,000 entry fees, and they take 12.
Yeah,
12
his
ropers.
winner take all too. That's what was bad.
Wow.
Because only one guy was going to get his money back.
So you had to go for it.
Yeah. Well, but
Wow.
it was 4 steer average too. I mean, you had to kind of. It wasn't a one header, but it was tough. They just had 3 or 4 of those winner take alls because they just weren't a very good deal for the cowboy, other than the guy that won.
But they had some big
Other than
jackpots,
the guy
though,
that
didn't
Yeah,
they?
they had a lot of big jackpots too. But I was thinking of those winner take all $1,000 entry fee.
Yeah.
Hell, I'd take that now.
Yeah,
$1,000
heck yeah.
winner take
I'd go against 12 guys for $1,000
Yeah.
entry fee
Yeah.
every day, probably.
For 1,000 girls, that'd be awesome.
Maryanne, who would you put on your WPRA Mount Rushmore? Cowgirls. Need 4 cowgirls.
Oh. My mom. She'd be first. Betty Gail Cooper, I think. Today's cowgirl, probably Larry D. Because I think she, you talk about being country, and country wasn't cool. And it may have been different in Texas, but, I spent a lot of time at her place and seeing pictures of her as a little kid roping, just being just tough as she could be.
Her brother rode good, too.
Yeah. And her big thing later was teaching. She's taught so many of the, of the girls that are going today. So as far as women, I'm sure I can think of some more, but
Need one more. You name 3.
oh man, I didn't even prepare for this. One more. Does it have to be a rodeo person? I guess it would have to be. There's so many cowgirls that never got any recognition.
Right.
It's a toss up, like flip a coin to which one of those. The ones that started, for example, the start of our association. They started it for us.
It was called the Girls Rodeo Association.
Girls
wasn't it?
Rodeo Association, GRA. Yes,
GRA for a long time.
See, he does know his history.
Telling
Goodness, nobody knows
Can't
that.
get one by Jimbo.
Yeah, and I think my mom's card number was like 25 or something. Mine's 4,000 something. So there's so many that came. Think about that. I got mine in 2003, and I was in the 4,000s. So there's so many that came before us that they rode broncs.
Trip steers.
Yeah, Jan Urin. Jan Urin. I don't know if I'd put her on Mount
What about
Rushmore.
Mabel Strickland? She was something else.
Yeah, there's so. I mean, I'm glad I was born when I was born because they're so much tougher than I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have survived.
I don't know about
What
that.
about a Mount Rushmore of just ropers you've seen in your life?
Ropers
Best
are the
ropers.
same. Oh gosh,
ever.
you guys!
Mount Rushmore. Men, women.
I can't. Nope, you're putting me on the spot. I can't do it.
Johnnie Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, shit. I've got 3 already, right?
You do.
Senior, junior, and my dad.
That's right.
Yeah. And my brother.
There you go.
There
Keep
you
it
go.
up all in the
Perfect.
family.
Yeah, my brother is a bad cat, and he's got 5 boys. He's got 5 children. So he works and raises his boys, and there's basketball and football and roping at home. There's 4-H, FFA. And so my brother might not rope for 3 months and can get on somebody's trail horse over there and go rope 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, like
When's the
nobody's
5th world
business.
champion coming in the family? lineage?
I don't know. The oldest one's 18. Has he turned 19 yet? There's 5, okay, so I get a little bit of grace remembering. But they, there's a couple of them that really, really enjoy roping. But they're young, and they can do basketball, and they can do sports right now, and they can't do that necessarily when they're older. And so they're doing very well. My second nephew, Brendan, he won his first buckle about a month ago on one of the head horses that we sent to him, and I'm very, very proud of him. He was very excited. So it's kind of cool that they can do that. But again, like us, if they want to do it, the opportunity is there because I won the 4th. So if they want to be a 5th generation, there's 5 of them. We got 5 chances.
There's a chance right there. Dang good chance in the lineage too.
And the last name will still be Miller. So
that's
kind
awesome.
of cool. Yeah.
Your uncle, your other uncle, Benny Bob, he was a stunt man too, wasn't he?
Yeah. And, he did all the Wranglers, had the teams with my dad in the movie business, but I think he did some producing as well.
Didn't he? Yeah, I got some scripts of his back there that we've got through the years that he was the main man in charge of maybe a production company out there of some sort. But did he ever tell you about jumping off the cliff in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
No. No, but I am not surprised, and because I always hear stories I haven't heard. So, what happened?
Well, Jimbo knows about it.
Well, it's just that famous scene.
That was him.
When they jumped off the. Is what your dad told us on one podcast.
See?
Didn't they ask him to do it again or something?
Yeah.
He
They
said no.
They said, no, we need to do it one more time.
Another
He said,
take?
hell with you.
We actually got a picture in the back of him of a horse falling on him, and your dad said, "That picture ain't Ben Johnson right there."
That's
That's my brother Ben.
Yep.
In a movie
Wow.
of a horse
That's
coming
cool.
over on him. Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, he was. He seemed like he was a pretty good guy too.
He was a pretty good guy, and the first. Can't believe it just occurred to me. The first job I ever had was Ed decided he wanted to produce movies way back when. Gaylord Productions, Gaylord, I don't even remember what it was called. And the first thing they did was, I probably shouldn't say it out loud. It was a film called Dark Before Dawn, which all of us worked on. My Uncle Ben, my Uncle Benny Bob, my dad, and myself. And that was, so he did some production work, and my cousins worked on it too as PAs, which is really awesome. It was really, because, it was an Oklahoma thing.
Yeah.
So it was awesome that we could see them do their work and then be part of it, be part of that environment. But the first job I ever had outside of, allowance or family chores, Ed Gaylord gave me working on that film. It was kind of cool.
That is cool.
I just thought of that.
Were you around there when they were filming My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys?
I was. Yeah. I was. Yeah. I was there for a lot of scenes they filmed with Scott Glenn. And I was literally in the lobby when Kelly Frost was there. Lane Frost's wife, and I was there in the lobby when a lot of people don't know, she wasn't up there at the time.
Really?
Yeah, I remember seeing her in the lobby of the hotel and she just found out. But yeah, I was there. Gosh dang it, I need to write some of this down too.
You need to write a book. Sound like heck with your dad. You need to write a book.
Yeah, the stuff I seen. Wilford Brimley was on that. Buck Taylor, Wilford Brimley.
Yeah?
So here's my Uncle Ben's starring, my other uncle is helping produce, and my dad's helping wrangle, and my cousins are helping produce. And I was acting, if that's what you call it. And I can remember, and Buck Taylor was Jeff Osterhage, Farnsworth.
Richard Farnsworth.
Yeah, and Wilford Brimley And I can remember Wilford telling us stories about being in the circus. You know, and you never know if what he was saying was baloney or whatnot. But he said, you can do this business if you want, but you are gonna grow up like a normal person and go to school and be normal, and then come back. They all had that consensus, but my parents couldn't tell me that because they're my parents.
I imagine you went to a bunch of the pro celebrity ropings they had through the years. Who was some movie stars that you thought, dang, he ropes a little better than I thought he could? Was there any of them that could rope pretty good? Or was it all the pros that
It was mostly pros.
that took up the slack?
It was mostly pros, but a few of those guys were cowboys
Yeah?
before they were in film. So, my Uncle Ben, but and Benny Bob, and then guys like Mike McGaha. I'm probably saying his name wrong.
I got a picture in the back of Sam Elliott carrying a rope at one of them.
Yeah, and there was
He was wearing a hat with a crown this tall on it.
I don't remember. I probably saw him there, but there was so many guys, Doug Clark, and there were so many old rodeo guys. David Moats, I think, came to a few. They all roped. And then the cool part was seeing the younger guys, like my brother, but Ty McClary. Do you remember Ty McClary?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The Mighty Duck. Now he's on the Cowboy Channel.
Him and my brother won it 1 year.
Oh, that's cool.
Roping together, so it's kind of cool. But that wasn't even the impressive thing. And I'm gonna say it because no one will ever see it. But we had pictures. We didn't have film of it. But the impressive thing was to see these guys out there with these kids in the arena. They would bring busloads of these kids out, not during a performance, and have them have their day. And they can have hay rides. They could sit on the dummy, and they could sit on the horse and rope the dummy, or stand on the ground, or whatever it is. And to see these guys enjoy themselves and just slowing it down and putting a rope in their hand or picking the kid up so they could pet the horse. That's the cool stuff. Could not keep it together. Like, at some point they'd lose it. These big, strong, tough guys, and seeing them give this kid a ride on their horse that can't even talk or can't even walk. That was more impressive to me than any of the roping ability of these guys that we had. And some, we got a picture of it, but my Uncle Ben took his hat off and put it on a kid one time, and everybody lost it. Like, there's not a dry eye in the arena, which is kind of cool.
I know they made a lasting mark on a bunch of people because we've had several other people when they were kids. They're adults now. They came through and they told us how Ben would let them sit on their horse, his horse, or let them wear their hat, or some of these other ropers would, teach them how to rope, and it really meant a lot to a lot of people because we've met several of them through the years here
cool.
that's came through and told us stories about them being there. So.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah,
See,
very good.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to every single one now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. There's only 170 something of them.
That's not that many. I mean, that's a lot, but that's not that many. I mean, when you think of the time it takes to do it, oh my gosh, the stories.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad you got it on tape.
Well, I don't know if we have any of those on tape. They just came through the museum and told us about it through the years. So, but we do got a lot of people on tape through the years for sure.
The other two fondest memories I have was the year my Uncle Ben passed. Reba stepped up and hosted it. It was the last year we had at the Lazy E, and that was pretty cool. And then the one we had in Houston right the same year, this tiny little 14, 15-year-old blonde-headed girl got up during, we would have these big functions, fundraisers, all for charity. And it was a ballroom full of people, fans and like-minded, like-hearted people that wanted to help. And we'd have a dinner and an auction and, whatnot. And she got up there and sang, I can't remember if it was Amazing Grace or Wind Beneath My Wings right now. Anyway, we were all crying, of course, and I went out and told her later, what a great job she did, and thank you so much for being here, her and her mother. It was Leanne Rimes. Later, it was Leanne Rimes,
But probably wasn't too much longer after that, because she got famous very, very young. She was like a 10-year-old when she was laying down records.
So it is a very small world. The good thing about rodeo is it brings so many different people of all walks of life together at some point in their lives. I mean, they just had the Kid Rock Rockin' Rodeo, for crying out loud, which is really cool. And they got him out in the arena on the horse,
We went last year. I didn't go to this year's, but we went last year.
Were you deaf afterwards?
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
It was a dang good time.
I wish I'd known you were there. It was, and it was good watching.
The first year it went on to like almost 2:00 in the morning or some crazy thing because the rodeo didn't get over.
It was
the concert
midnight.
didn't start till like midnight.
Yeah, it was midnight.
He said we were supposed to be out of here by midnight, but
surprise.
Yeah, then he did a heck of a full concert right there.
He did.
So you were there too last year.
I was there
Holy
last
moly.
year. Yeah, he gave everybody their money's worth, and he was happy to do it.
I saw an interview of him here a while back, and he said the most impressive thing about rodeo he thought were the ropers, because something about how they got to ride their horse, swing the rope all at the same time.
Variables.
So it makes me think that he may be trying to start roping or something.
Oh.
You going out there giving him lessons?
I would. I would in a heartbeat.
I'll go work the chute for y'all.
Yeah, I would. I'd go during the day, though. Not that nighttime or daytime would make any difference between them partying or not, but I would definitely go during the day because I know that when it came to the party scene, I wouldn't be able to keep up. I could do the roping, but that's it.
J.B. Mooney was talking about him the other day and called him Bob. Now, who's Bob? But I guess that's his name.
I guess that's what he goes by. I think his name's Robert Ritchie or something like that. I read. Probably goes by Bob.
Yeah, that's what JB was calling Bob. And I couldn't figure out who in the heck are you talking about.
I'll tell you what, he puts on a heck of a rodeo.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a good show.
What'd you think about that bulldog? And holy moly, that thing was crazy. The way that arena was set up, the first couple of bulldoggers, they weren't ready for that.
Yeah, once they got it figured out.
It was dang good watching.
To watch both of them go at the same time, it's like it's like sensory overload.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
The barrel racing was great. Everything
the barrel racing
about
was great. Yeah.
And the best thing about it was they didn't buck one bull during the whole thing. It was just horse riding and roping, bulldogging and barrel racing.
Yep. Because they had the PBR right then.
Yeah,
too.
the next day was the finals. But
man, what a production! It still amazes me they can do that.
They just production. They've been having this big Hondo rodeo out in Phoenix, I guess. Mm-hmm. Did you go to that one?
I didn't. I heard all about it, and I'd like to go, but
is that just an invitational rodeo?
It's an
invitational.
Oh. It's an invitational, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to put on a good show, and they have a specific idea in mind of what they want to give the audience and the spectators, and I think that's great. It's great for our sport.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, heck. What else you got for her today, Jimbo?
Well, just thank her for making the drive down and visiting with us. But I wanted to remind people about the foundation, the Miller Johnson Foundation. Check it out. It's a great cause.
Thank you.
And hope
me and Jimbo highly recommend it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys for your support. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you guys. I hope we can help a lot of people. I got to tell you, Tito is, I started working for Tito's Handmade Vodka. Sorry, short. I'll make it short.
No, we got all day.
He will tell you hands down that they're in the philanthropy business and they make vodka on the side. He's a very giving individual, and he helped me with the first contribution. And, a few months went by and we had a catch-up call, and he said, well, how's it going out there? And I said, I got to tell you, this giving money away to people that need it is addicting. So I know how he does it. You know, like he loves to do it. He loves to help people. He loves to see people be happy. If he can do something for them for the better, he didn't even care if they know about it. He just wants to do it. And so I hope we can help a lot more people. I'm not a promotional type person, but I guess I better start because
We got to get the word out there somehow.
Yeah.
MillerJohnsonFoundation.com. So thank you guys.
Everybody donate.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Please.
donate. It doesn't even matter what it is. Just
Donate what you can. We're
Yeah.
going to be contributing as much as we can, as long as we can through the
well,
years.
I
so.
appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for doing it, for sure.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming on today and making the drive down here
Yeah.
just to be here.
Happy to do it.
Holy moly, it was so much fun. I feel like we could probably talk
I'm
for
gonna wear a
another hour or
Hawaiian
two.
shirt next time I see you guys.
You should.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
should. I should have told you the dress code before
Yeah.
you came.
Yeah, right.
But she
Yeah.
is wearing the Ben Johnson Day shirt.
I know.
Yep. There it is.
Yep.
Glad I got it.
That was last year's shirt.
It was this year.
Oh, okay. This
Yeah.
year's shirt. Oh, I
Yeah.
like it. They have John Israel's rig on there too.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
great. I love it.
There you go.
Well, everybody, be sure and come to the museum. Don't forget to buy some turquoise from
Yeah,
the Buck
come
and
to the
Flamingo
museum.
turquoise. That's how we pay for the museum, actually. And do not forget the Miller Johnson Foundation. Please, please help all you can with it.
Or the Ben Johnson Museum.
Just come see us at the Ben Johnson Museum.
There you go.
We'll show you a good time.
Yes,
Yep.
for sure.
All right.
Thanks,
well,
guys.
We'll see everybody the first and third Thursday of every month. Thank you so much, Maryanne,
Yeah,
for
thank
coming
you.
on
Thanks,
today.
Maryanne.
Thank you.
Later.